We are standing in front of my Tesla Model Y Performance. And I'm not going to be doing a review on this car today, although if you want me to, please let me know. It's been a great car. This has been my second Tesla Model Y. But what I really wanted to do today is talk about the self-driving. Now, I am on the current version of full self-driving, and I'll list it here above on what number that is. And it is February of 2026. But I wanted to give you my perspective. I've been using full self-driving from a subscription standpoint for probably 2.5 years, roughly. And I can tell you that my experience with full self-driving has been mixed up until about version 14. I would say prior to version 14, full self-driving to me was either a drunk person or maybe a 14 or 15-year-old trying to learn how to drive version. And that's to be expected. It did really well on driving down the highway, but turn-by-turn stuff or city-type stuff was questionable at best. Once they came out with version 14, or I would say, let me actually get more specific than that, September of 2025, they made significant improvements to full self-driving. And I've taken many road trips with this car since then. I've driven to LA and back a few times. I've driven Las Vegas to San Francisco and back a few times, and from Vegas to Phoenix round trip once, all using full self-driving. And I would say with each rollout that they come out with, the better this technology gets. So whatever 14.1 was is going to be the worst that full self-driving has ever been. And the subsequent versions are just even better and better and better. I could tell you when 14 came out and I took a road trip to Phoenix and I was driving back home at night, for whatever reason, the car would swerve violently and I couldn't figure out why. And what it was, they were doing some road construction and somebody had spray painted on the ground, and I guess in pitch black, that looked like an obstacle. So the car abruptly swerved. It scared the shit out of me. And that hasn't happened since the new upgrades have come out. So they incrementally get better over time. I would say the one thing I hate about the new full self-driving is the different modes. You have standard and hurry and Mad Max and all this other nonsense. And the problem that I have with these aren't necessarily the assertiveness of each of the different modes. It's you don't have the option to lock in your speed. Unlike a regular cruise control where you set a speed number, this kind of goes off of vibes or your driving history or unicorn dust or something bizarre. It's determining that it'll target a speed of some sort, but you can't physically set the speed. The problem I have is that you'll be ripping through a construction zone at 75 mile an hour with a 55 mile an hour posted speed limit or less, and you have no way to slow it down. Even if you change the modes, it will stay at a higher speed than you want it to be at. Alternatively, you'll be on a freeway and at a posted speed limit of 65 miles an hour, and the car will be going 58. And you're, what is happening? And you'll jack it up all the way to Mad Max and the speed won't change. So that's the problem that I have with the current philosophy around this. You need to decouple the driving behavior with speed. And then I think you're in the ballpark, because then the user can decide if they want to get a traffic ticket and set the target speed. So if they want to go 80 miles an hour through a construction zone, then that's up to them. And right now it's up to the car. Or you have to disconnect full self-driving altogether and then try to reactivate it and hope that it knows what it's doing. And it just doesn't right now. So there's the improvement piece. The main part of my story today is more about talking about where I think people are getting full self-driving wrong. We hear Elon talk about robo-taxis and that you can turn the car into a robo-taxi at night. And I think that's really, really hard for people to get their mind around that particular concept, where I'm not driving my car today. I'm going to be hanging around the house. So just go out and make me some money. That's hard for people to think through. The robo-taxi thing and being a competitor to Waymo, when I had this conversation with Claude or ChatGPT, it said, yeah, Waymo's got more cars, and here's why Tesla's going to be an uphill battle. And again, they're thinking about it wrong, and they're thinking about it the way the news is thinking about it. But here's the way I'm thinking about it from a user perspective. Imagine a world where I don't need to Uber to the airport anymore. I can get in my car, it can drive me to the airport, drop me off, and come back to the house. That I see happening soon, probably. Once they get unsupervised full self-driving, then why isn't that a thing? Or think about this. You're going out for a night to the bar, and maybe you've had a few drinks, and you shouldn't be driving. You can still get in your car and have it take you home. That, I think, is meaningful. But think about all the different use cases that we might use an Uber for locally that you wouldn't have to do anymore. In addition to road tripping on this thing, when I took my last road trip to San Francisco over the holidays, I barely touched the wheel once. And I can tell you it was the most enjoyable 11 hours that I've ever had in a car. And for me, when you arrive, you're just a lot more refreshed because, driving, you're constantly thinking about the road and situations and whatnot. And here you can look out your front window, pay attention to the road, but you're not constantly calculating every little thing that you have to do to the controls. I think that is probably the best couple use cases about how to think about full self-driving. I mean, yes, would I love to be on an 11-hour road trip and be able to lean my seat back and fall asleep? Maybe. I don't trust it that much, but could you theoretically take a call and not pay attention, or text and drive? I know that's on the radar, or have something else that you're doing from a task standpoint instead of driving. And I think those things are a lot more reachable over a shorter period of time than being able to just pimp out my car when I want to make some money overnight. I think the robo-taxi concept still got a lot of gaps in it, in my opinion. Like, where's the car going to charge? How does it charge? Especially if I, let's say, do pimp out my car overnight, who's going to charge it? Does it come back empty? And then I got to deal with it. There's just a lot of missing parts to those work streams where I think the more practical application for full self-driving is you basically own your own Uber now. And not from a monetary standpoint, but from a convenience standpoint. The car can take you to and from. Again, it could pick you up from the airport. It could leave the garage, drive to the airport, pick me up, take me back. That, to me, is the use cases I think we should all be talking about, rather than these just autonomous third-party taxi company or being able to profit off your vehicle type conversations. I think that's just too mind-blowing. But let me know what you think. I know the last time I made a Tesla video, it got pretty heated. This is just my opinion as somebody who's owned now a Tesla for over 5 years and going to go on my third one in June. But let me know what your thoughts are on the potential for full self-driving, and I'd love to hear your ideas on that. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.